If you did a YouTube search for the new game Bodycam, you could be forgiven for coming away with the impression that it's like this edgy, hyper realistic game. You might even see titles that are something to the effect of, "This is the most realistic game I've ever played." But I'm going to be honest with you guys. If you're looking for a realistic game, or even a satisfying game, or a game with any substance, this is not it. Now, one thing I pride myself on is always being honest with you guys. So let's take a look at the good, the bad, and the ugly about this game. Best part of this game, hands down, is the visuals. The fisheye lens aesthetic looks really good. The body position's a little bit wrong, but it looks realistic. It looks great. The desaturation makes it look gritty and real, and the lighting is phenomenal. Between the camera effects, the lighting, the desaturation, and the wonky movement, it really does feel immersive. And to be fair to this game, and I always try to take a balanced approach on these things, this was created by two kids, really, a 17-year-old and a 20-year-old French kid. So as I get into the things that I'm not a huge fan of, keep that in mind. Like, it's super impressive that this small team of really young people was able to put together a game like this. I genuinely applaud them for it, and I think that as new tools continue to lower the bar to entry for game development, more people should get into that space because we need an influx of new ideas and new energy. That said, there are a lot of problems with this game, so let's tackle the bad. There is almost nothing to this game. It's not much more than just a free-for-all. There is a team deathmatch mode and there's a half-ass bomb defusal mode, but there really is not a whole lot more to those than just feeling like a deathmatch. You spawn in with basically no regard to where enemies are in relation to your spawn point and often get killed almost instantly. Now, it's not the fact that it's fast paced that's a problem. It's the fact that the maps are so small, the lobbies are too big for the maps, and it really doesn't give you any time or space to be able to play tactically or think about what you're going to do and use some strategy. You just have to spawn, hopefully get some shots off, maybe survive for a few more seconds so you can run around and run right into another person 5 steps later. Now, if it were just that, then whatever. Maybe you like fast paced deathmatch games and that is cool with you. But a larger issue is that there is no gameplay loop to this game. There's really no incentive to play this game for more than 15 or 20 minutes because it's just an endless loop of connecting to a lobby, jumping out of a plane into the match with no parachute for some reason, and then running around, killing, dying for a few minutes, and then restarting a new match. That is not a recipe for a game to have longevity. This is one example of a phenomenon that I think is plaguing the gaming industry right now, and that is developers releasing games onto early access way too early. Now, this can be a problem for two reasons. Either one, there's not enough content in the game. An example of this would be the early access release of 6 Days in Fallujah, which had almost zero content when it originally launched. Or two, they chose form over substance. An example of this would be Ground Branch, which has phenomenal movement mechanics and control for being able to do CQB. But at the same time, there is not much to do in the game. Bodycam, unfortunately, violates both of those. There's basically no content in this game. It's almost an empty shell where there's no kit customization, there's no weapon customization to start with, at least. You got 3 small maps and the same kind of negligible gameplay loop that you just do over and over and over again ad infinitum. But they also chose form over substance. They put 100% of their effort into making this visual experience to try to make it as immersive and realistic looking as possible while skimping on the gameplay. Now, in my opinion, the number one thing that game developers need to do to fix this is to just focus on that substance rather than the form. Unreal Engine 5 is awesome, great visuals are awesome, but the gameplay and the replayability are way more important. Games like Baldur's Gate 3 or even Hunt Showdown have die-hard fans that sink thousands and thousands of hours into the game because it's so immersive and because the gameplay loop is so good, even though they don't have the best graphics and visuals on the market. All right, now for the ugly. If I see another video with someone saying it's the most realistic game they've ever played, I'm going to lose my mind. There's virtually nothing realistic about this game, but in particular, the aiming and shooting mechanics are preposterous. This is the only game I've ever played where the developers seem to actually want you to not be able to aim. Let me illustrate what I mean. I'm not talking about a game making the recoil punishing or anything like that. I'm talking about the literal physical mechanics of how the avatar in the game uses their hands and arms to aim a weapon. Every law enforcement officer, soldier, marine, experienced shooter, whatever, knows that you need to maintain a solid stance with a good base in order to give yourself the most stability possible in order to make your shots. At a fundamental level, what you're really doing is making that weapon sort of like an extension of your body so that your body moves along with it, allowing you to maintain that stability. And before I get hate in the comments, yes, I get it. You're looking through a body cam and it looks a little bit off kilter. I know. But that is not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the way that the avatar itself actually moves and how it's preposterous. Honestly, if you tried to come up with the least efficient way possible to aim and shoot a weapon, this isn't that far off. You can't even just normally transition between targets. This is what it looks like while I'm just kind of gently moving my mouse back and forth. And if you try to move it any faster than that, it ends up looking like you're rowing a kayak or a drunk person on a spacewalk or something like that. Instead of maintaining a good stance, you're literally jerking the front and rear end of the weapon around its center axis for no reason. What's worse than that is that you can't even move your body without doing that. In order to turn, you have to jerk your weapon to the side before you do so. And the pistols are just as ridiculous. You look like a wacky waving inflatable arm flailing tube man. You turn one of your wrists to the side while you extend the other arm and push the pistol through the air to that side. It's literally nonsensical. But here's the bottom line in my opinion. If you want a satisfying tactical game that you can enjoy with your friends, that will keep you engaged for a long period of time, and which has a lot of replayability, this is not your game. Thanks for hanging out, and I'll catch you guys next time.